Hello climate kids, this is Andrew Rosales here at Cabrillo National Monument, and today we're looking at some of our plants and their adaptations to the climate we have here in San Diego. Do you know what the climate is here in San Diego? Well, the name of our climate in San Diego is the Mediterranean climate, and it only happens in 4 other places across the globe. And only 2% of the globe has this beautiful San Diego weather that we have. So what do we have here in San Diego? Lots of sun, right? And we have sun, which is great, but let's think about what plants need to live and thrive, right? They need sun, right, to make their food, photosynthesis. They also need water, and they also need nutrients, right? So that they can grow strong. All the things that we all need, right? Nutrients to grow strong, water, and then sun for the plants to make their food. What do we get most of here in San Diego? Well, sun. These plants are exposed to a lot of sunny days here in San Diego, especially these hot, dry summer days that we're having right now. So some of the adaptations are on the plant itself. This plant is the lemonade berry, and as you notice just by looking at this lush green plant, the leaves, as they grow, all this new growth, notice the leaves are pointing more vertically and upward, right? This is to allow the sun rays to go past them. Imagine if you were laying out flat, all that sun is hitting right in your hand, right on your leaf. But if your leaf is growing up and slightly curved, then the sun will miss it, right? So less surface area for that sun to hit. And so the plant gets enough sun to make its food, but not so much that it burns up. Also, another cool thing about this plant, another great adaptation is when you rub these leaves on this lemonade berry, there's a little waxy coating left on that, and that is almost like you putting on sunscreen on your skin to protect you from the sun. This waxy coating helps protect it from the sun. It also helps keep water inside that plant, so it holds on to the water longer, just like if you were waxing over the top of a bottle, right, to keep that water inside. It's almost like a little cap for it. So these plants will lose water during transpiration when they're exchanging gases, right? But that waxy coating helps protect it and hold that water in longer so it can use it throughout those long dry seasons, whatever water it gets. So on to our next plant. So as I said before, we have a Mediterranean climate here in San Diego, and that is defined by long periods of drought with a short rainy season, right? So we have about 3 months of rainy season in the winter, and then the rest of the time, it's those periods of drought or lack of water. So all these plants out here have needed to adapt to catching, storing, acquiring water any way they can. So this plant, the coastal locoweed, has amazing adaptation. He's got little hairs on his leaves that will collect water during these foggy mornings that we get. The fog moves in, the water condenses onto the leaves on those little hairs, and then that plant can pull in that water. Also, you'll notice that this is almost a silvery blue color, right? So the lighter colors it is, the more sun reflects off it. So this plant does get enough sun to make food for itself, but not so much that it will burn up. Right? So another great adaptation is the little hairs to collect water. All right, friends, bush sunflower, our third plant. Notice, it almost looks dead, doesn't it? It's all dry, all the old flowers, they've all gone to seed. That's because this plant is on its way to sleep, or its state of dormancy. During the winter, we have that short rainy period where we get all our rain, and a long dry drought period, right? This plant goes to sleep during that dry period. It takes too much energy for it to try to gather and hold moisture. So instead, its adaptation is it just goes to sleep, almost like a dimmer switch in your house where you can turn up the light really bright. That's what this plant pushed out with all its beautiful yellow flowers. It's being pollinated, it's making all its seeds. Its work for the season is done now as we go into summer. So that dimmer switch is turning down and he's going to sleep. Just like bears will hibernate in the winter and then wake up in spring, these plants do the opposite. They hibernate or go dormant during the summertime when they know there's not a lot of water, and it's easier for them just to sleep and wait for, you guessed it, the rain to come. This is the bush sunflower. All right, friends, the fourth plant, Shaw's agave. You'll notice big, thick leaves. This plant's adaptation is it stores the water in those big, thick leaves. It's like its own water bottles. So during the winter, it soaks up all that water and then it will hold on to it during the long, dry summer months. Also, you'll notice spikes, very thorny and sharp. That's how it guards that precious resource of water. All those spikes, if you're an animal and you try to bite into it, you get a little poke in your mouth, right? So this Shaw's Agave has sharp spines at the edge of it to help protect and hold that water. So the Shaw's Agave, our fourth plant. So friends, we've talked about 4 plants here at Cabrillo National Monument and their adaptations. But with our shifting climate, are these plants going to be able to adapt fast enough, right? So we want to think about what's our climate commitment? What are some things that you're already doing at home for the planet, right? For the climate. Maybe reusable water bottles, maybe recycling, right? But it's all our jobs, not just my job, not just your job, all our jobs together to create a better climate moving forward. So what's your climate commitment?